It's 12 noon. We're live on City Line. Hi, I'm Jackie Hall.
And I'm B.T. Bentley. You know them as Joshua of One Life to Live and Thomasina and Carter of Another World.
Today we'll meet them as Guy Davis, Pamela K, and Russell Curry. Three black actors who have landed major roles in two of today's most popular daytime soaps.
Join us as we find out more about their characters and more about their personal lives.
We'll also discuss blacks in television, examining the recent development of shows centered on blacks and their families.
Today's show, however, is your show. Your chance to call in and talk to your favorite soap star.
A local union tells its side of the King Holiday non-observance for city employees. I'm T. Montier, and we'll talk about that today on Newscap.
In recognition of Black History Month, I'll be featuring a video by the Winans with a song that joins in the ever-growing chorus singing out about the injustices of apartheid. Hi, I'm Harold Anthony, and I'll have this and more on today's edition of the Entertainment Page.
City Line is thrilled to have three of your favorite soap stars right here live.
And they're yours to talk to. Call in and join us. Soap Stars up next live on City Line. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, and as everyone probably knows, today is the first day of Black History Month.
That's right.
And we'd like to encourage each and every one of you to take part in some of those activities planned during the month to find out the contributions of blacks to the country and, of course, to the world.
That's right. And, of course, our community calendar today will get you a head start on some of the activities taking place here in Baltimore. And as Harold mentioned, he's got something very interesting for you on the entertainment page.
But first,
right now, we're going to get right started and introduce to you from One Life to Live, Mr. Guy Davis.
yay! From Another World, Pamela K and Russell Curry. Come on down. Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Scott, how's it going?
Welcome to City Line. Welcome.
All right. You made it. All right. I'm going to put those mics on you and, as we said, let the folks have you. I trust that everyone had a good trip and everything down.
That's great.
Just to make sure that everybody knows who's who, we're going to start off here from left to right.
I'm Pam.
Well, from center. Okay. That's Pam K in the middle there.
I'm mistake about that.
And she's flanked by Mr. Guy Davis.
Yes.
And Mr. Russell Carter.
Here I am. Where am I?
Now, you're right there. Okay.
Not too many years ago, on the college campuses, the guys didn't want to admit that they watched the soaps. I mean, you know, myself being one of them. You know, but now it seems to be okay for everybody to watch the soap. Why is that? Why all of a sudden, or why is it that over the last, say, 4 or 5 years, guys have kind of started letting on that they watch the soaps too?
Guy.
Guy,
Guy doesn't know. I don't know.
What do you think, Guy?
I think the male images on soaps have gotten stronger. I mean, they used to be that soaps were directed toward women. And so consequently, they always had women triumphing over the men because that's what women, you know, who were home as housewives wanted to see. You know, now I think the male images are stronger.
Plus, they're finding young guys, young women that they can identify with. I mean, I would even dare say that I would tune in and see Jesse. You know? So, you know, and I liked the relationship that was going on then.
Did you all start off wanting to be an actor? I mean, at what point in your life did you decide that acting was where you wanted to go?
Well, for me, I made the decision to do that, I think, when I was about 1980. I had acted, I mean, as far back as 1973 in professional work, but I wasn't sure that was what I wanted to do. Acting is weird.
Now, let me just tell our audience, I hope you don't mind our saying it, but you grew up in a home of theatrical people, though. Your mother is Ruby Dee, and your father is Ossie Davis, right?
That is correct.
So was there that obvious major influence? Exactly. Was there that influence of these strong, very positive, very successful actors?
Well, let's just say they left the door open. I could either go into it or go into whatever I wanted to. They were going to be very supportive.
Yeah, that's up to you.
Let me ask you about your home life, though, in terms of at home, did you meet a lot of actors that we would recognize by name only or parts? Did they come to the house? Were they there for dinner and lunch and so forth?
Well, I guess you could say, yeah. I mean, folks like Godfrey Cambridge, Harry Belafonte, but even more interesting, folks like Malcolm X,
Oh, wow.
Daddy King, Huey Newton. When I was away at summer camp or something, slept in my bed, I was told. So a lot's been happening.
Like Kilroy slept here.
Yeah. Wrote his name on the pillow. I said, thank you.
It's incredible.
Pam, how about you? How did you get into acting?
I'm still trying to figure that out. No. I was modeling for a long time and doing commercials, and but I did that to get through college.
Okay.
At some point, I made a decision that I wanted to be an actress. It wasn't easy at all, you know, because I kept going to agents and they kept saying, oh, well, black people don't work in the business, come on, you know. And I kept saying, but, you know, I don't need a lot of projects. I only need one series, you know, 1 or 2 films
Just
a
one
year.
series.
Right, yeah.
What was the first big break?
I did a low-budget film.
Made money, too.
What is this? Can we see it?
Do you remember the name?
Yes, I do remember the name.
Would you tell us, please?
Do I have? No. No, it was a movie called Weekend Pass. It was a low-budget film, and it was actually it was a very popular teenage.
It was one of my favorites, by the way.
Yeah, right. I'm sure you saw it.
You know, it was funny because I was up for the male lead in that movie, too.
Opposite me.
Yeah, and just missed it. So I would have seen her 6 months earlier.
Right.
All right, listen, we're going to go away and pay some bills, but we can be right back and talk a little bit more with these folks. We want to invite you folks at home to call in at 481-1313 if you want to talk to your favorite soap stars. Stay with us.
Oh, okay. We're back on Sitting Line talking to the soap opera stars. And Russell, how did you get started in the business?
Well, I don't know. You know, you get your feet wet, and people around you keep saying things like, you should go into it, you've got talent, things like that. And coming from Minneapolis, St. Paul, there's a lot of theater there, incredible theater, legitimate, professional. And so there was a lot to tap. And then I went to a school, private school, 4-year college, McAllister College, and majored in dramatic arts there, and graduated. And one thing led to another. Later I would do more theater, you know, in the Twin Cities, and then go to Los Angeles, and I got this, so, yeah.
Okay. Well, before we delve a little bit further into the personal lives of the characters that you play, let's see if we can take a look at a couple of clips, get a kind of an idea for those 1 or 2 of you who have not seen them before. And I think we're going to start off with a clip from One Life to Live with God, and they will roll that shortly, I believe.
Oh, boy.
Dr. Josh Hall, you tricked me.
Yeah, and it looked like it worked just fine. You seem speechless.
Almost. I just didn't figure for that kind of guy. I don't know.
Well, all's fair in romance. Let me take your coat.
What romance?
The romance that I'm trying to get started with you.
This makes no kind of sense.
Who said romance has to make sense?
Well, oh, Josh, come on. You hated me, you know? You really did hate me. And I could see getting a little
Sit down
friendly,
over
but...
here and let's talk about it.
Okay.
Now, Lisa,
Yeah.
you are one foxy woman,
Oh,
and you
come
know
on.
that. And for a long time, I've been watching you. I can't help but notice just how attractive you are. Now, we've been barking at each other for a long time, but we stopped that. And I've come to like you a very great deal.
Yeah, but it's just so overnight, you know what
All
I
right,
mean?
well, so what? You like me, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm not
but,
unattractive to you, am I?
No, it's
Well,
just...
then why resist me and waste time with that street kid? I am a doctor. I have class, and you have class.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like one of us has a whole lot of ego, huh?
You're right. You got to have ego to get anywhere in this world. But if you don't, people will walk right over your nose on the way up to the top. Speaking of which, do you know that you have a very cute little bunny rabbit nose? Did you know that?
Okay.
And you have nice cheekbones.
Thank you.
Which is connected to the neck bone. That's kind of near the chin bone. Which is right.
No, wait a
Now, Dr. Hall.
Dr. Dog.
Dr. Dog. I was going to say, you're not very likable if we can just spin off of that as your character. I mean, conniving, egocentric, and all of that. You don't look like that, really.
Well, gosh, when they hired me, I thought they were going to let me be a nice guy, but those are the words they made me say. So.
You were too young to be playing a doctor in the soap. How old are you supposed to be there?
I think 26. I'm supposed to be one of these genius doctors who just, you know, suddenly assimilated all this medical knowledge. I personally haven't seen a doctor under 28.
Now, you are Ed Hall's son.
Yeah, played by
and all of a
Alfred
sudden
Newz.
you appeared out of nowhere. We never had any inkling that Ed Hall had any children.
Oh, yes, you did. About 10 years ago, a young man named Larry Fishburne played Josh Hall as a kid.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
thank
so,
you for setting the record straight. We're going to go to our callers from home, and they'd like to talk with you. Okay? Hi, you're in touch with our soap stars.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello. I would like to know, why aren't there more blacks in commercials during the show, women and guys? And I'm asking all three of them.
Why aren't there more blacks in commercials?
In the commercials that appear during the time your show is on.
Thank you.
That's interesting. I'm not sure if I've been aware of it. Although it may represent the percentage of blacks on the soap that's in the commercial.
I think
Maybe
that
that's the issue.
I think that it represents who they think are watching. You know, although I'm not quite sold on their numbers. But in terms of percentages and in terms of percentages of blacks on the soaps and the other white characters on the soaps and then the blacks in the commercials and the whites in the commercials, they somehow think those percentages are equal to the percentage of viewers, blacks watching as opposed to whites watching. Did I say that clearly?
Yes.
So I think that's the only reason. You know, people that want to know why aren't there more blacks on television, you got to speak up. You got to write in. You got to write us letters. You have to write the producers letters. You have to let them know you're out there.
Well, you know, Russell, you were in Baltimore not too long ago. The NAACP presented both you and the show with an award of sorts, I believe.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me that.
Me either, Russ. What's going on?
It was, well, hey, you know, I
It's
mean,
playing down here.
I did. I had a lot of fun. It was, yeah, the Image Award, the local NAACP.
That's great.
And, yeah, I mean, you know, I play a part that I'm proud to play, you know, that's very different from the regular stereotype. And
Give us a little bit about that part, and then we're going to see a clip from your show.
Well, Carter Todd, he's married with a kid to this
Married to?
Pam K, or Thomasina. Well, life imitates art. But yeah, they had a baby early, you know, probably too early, and but they've gone on. I'm in college. Thomasina is doing lab work at a local hospital. That's basically where it stands right now.
Let's kind of spin off of that and go to the clip of the two of you in another world, and they're playing their parts.
I was up for your part.
Hi.
Hi. You okay?
I'm fine.
There's some meatloaf left. I can make you a sandwich.
Listen, Tom.
You hardly ate any dinner.
I was wrong, and I'm sorry.
I can't stand it when you walk out.
I know. Do you think we could just start this whole night over again?
Carter, you know I love you, and you know I love the baby.
Hey, they said your interview got changed.
I know you don't want me to do this.
Lab work, huh? They'd be lucky to get you. Another Marie Curie of Bay City.
Only if I can work out the hours.
No, that's not quite right. Only if we can work out the hours.
I love you so much.
Tom.
None of that on the set, please. Oh, we're gonna take a break and be right back. Please stay with us.
Okay, we're back and we are live talking to Guy, Pamela, and Russell. Just before we went into the break, Russell and Pamela, we saw the clip of your characters from Another World. Give us just a summary of the kind of characters that you are. You talked about the situation you're involved in, but what about that relationship on camera? And then we want to talk about the relationship off camera. On camera first.
That's I don't know, like, on the set, you know, you're trying to mix the fact that you do like the person you're working with, and, you know, you like the way she looks. And then you got to say these things, you know, you got to say certain things that, you know, you wouldn't maybe normally say, or what you would rather say something else. But that's easy. I mean, I don't have any problems with it.
You're grinning.
What about you, Pamela? You're blushing, too.
You know, Russell and I are great, great friends. I mean, just like married couples. we get into our little arguments.
Are you an item off camera?
No, we're just wonderful friends.
Yeah.
We're really good friends.
Are you sure?
We would say that anyway.
I can get serious for just a second, because we're having too much fun to get too heavy here. In recent months, in particular, the question has arisen over the safety or whatever of kissing strangers and so forth, due to, of course, the questions about age and so forth. Has that started to have any type of effect in terms of the way you might feel approaching a character or a scene such as that? Any of you?
Well, to my understanding, I mean, we kiss.
Yeah.
Okay? And honestly, everything I've read about it and heard about it, it's like next to impossible to get it that way. So, you know, I live with that, you know.
Now, we saw Guy kissing from the nose to the neck to the knee bone and the thigh bone. So, I mean,
I never did get to the lips. I didn't get to the lips. I was going for it, but she rolled off the couch.
Somebody's neck, then he's fine.
Any apprehensions, though, about kissing?
In general, I don't particularly mix spit with anybody, age care or not. I don't, you know. If it's somebody I care about, then I, you know, get a little more involved. But as far as entertainment is concerned, it's just that. Make it look good, sort of, from the outside.
Okay.
You all know that, right?
Let's take a call from home again. Our viewers really want to talk to you. Hi, you can talk to our stars now if you'd like, caller.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay. I'd like to ask you, what sort of contracts do you get? I mean, do you get a year contract? And are you all happy with the projects that you have?
Good question.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a feeling that we are all happy to be employed black actors. Employed actors and employed black actors.
Yes.
Contracts range sometimes maybe 2 years, 3 years, but they have clauses in them that after certain periods of time, like 13 weeks, 18 weeks, these intervals that go by, you can be dismissed after they go by. So our jobs are not as secure as I would like for them to be necessarily. So all of us have to stay on our toes.
But are you happy with the projects that you're working on currently?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard. It's the hardest job I have ever had in my whole life. I mean, we do an hour show a day.
Any rehearsals involved?
We rehearse, what, twice?
Really.
And then we shoot it. And
And
short of the
that's
set
it.
falling on our head, they take it, you know?
Plus,
so
and there isn't much input, say, from a director. There's no communication really with the writers.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're left to your own devices.
you're on your own,
So
pretty much.
as professional actors, then you assume that you will deliver, right? That's why that's what
right.
you're there for.
Yeah, yeah. And it's very difficult. I mean, you have to find everything in your character yourself because you don't get the script for next week, you know, and you don't always know what they have in mind.
So it's good training, in other words.
It's incredible training.
Yeah, it's incredible training, and I mean, you learn a great deal of the technical side, like where the cameras are, you know. And but as far as a process, see, it's I think it's difficult for an actor. I mean, when he or she thinks about a process, and because I like to think it takes 8 weeks for a play to go up, you know. I would never put a play up in 2 weeks. But that's the sort of sense that you get, you know.
Let me ask you another question now. All of a sudden, there are a lot of black actors on television, period. What do you think caused the explosion of blacks? Maybe some people would say, well, there still aren't enough in proportion to the population. But what do you think started it? What has propelled it so?
They want to exploit the black market. If black people spend the amount of money they do being consumers and also consume hours of television, they want to exploit that. They want that audience.
Now, you say exploit.
Exploit.
Interesting word.
Well, let's just say if there's money to be made, you got to make it. And that is what they are doing. We are it's marketing. We have been researched, they've checked us out, and they said, okay, let's put some more of us out there so more of us will watch. And that's
I would diddle that.
Back in the 70s, when all the black exploitation films came out, it was because the film industry was in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, now when the record industry was in trouble, Michael Jackson came out with Thriller and single-handedly saved the record industry. Okay? Now, again, television's in trouble. They don't quite know where to do. I mean, that's why you have an overabundance of cop shows. You have an overabundance of the same type of
the Bill Cosby type show now this season.
Yeah. Again, you know, they are finding out that blacks are consumers. Bill Cosby gets a 54 share, or 18 share, which is 54% of the viewing audience, which is more than any show has ever gotten in history.
Has his show done a lot for blacks on TV, obviously? He opened up a lot of eyes just by the spinoffs.
Yeah, but, you know, unfortunately, I mean, you know, for them to just do spin-offs with black people in them is not good enough. I mean, they have to be quality shows. They have to be.
And it's not so cool to be you know, sort of clone of Cosby.
So
they
where
need
the
to
quality
have their
shows
own
going to come
stamp.
from? Where are the quality shows going to come from?
Us.
Exactly.
Us.
Are you writers as well?
When I say us, I mean the young people that are up and coming now. The only time that, you know, blacks are going to get on TV in quality productions is for us to do our own.
What about you, Guy? Are you interested in writing and providing some of those products?
At some point, yes, I'd like to be involved in directing and producing. My forte is performing, but where black folks are needed, especially, is behind the scenes. They're needed in the production capacities, and in the marketing, and in the research, and in all the nuts and bolts of the industry.
Do you see that coming, either of you?
Yes.
Yeah,
You see it on the
slowly, but
horizon,
they're
kind of
working on it.
marching towards us?
Yeah, it's a good point for like a lot of the high school students that are out there that might be watching today. The jobs are there, but you got to get the experience. You got to stay in school, and you know, behind the scenes. I'm not talking about acting because that's a whole nother story.
We're talking about on the other side of the camera, the people who aim and focus.
We have that same feeling. A great many people want to be in our positions, but they don't realize that there is a lot of power behind the scenes.
More power behind the scenes, really. Much
Security
more power.
too, as well.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Let me ask, how much of the character is you, Guy, or you, Pamela, or you, Russell? And how much is simply a character on screen, and after the camera's off, you go on being whoever you really are? Well, I'll ask you that after the break. That's a cliffhanger. We'll be back in just a moment to get answers to that question.
Transportation for City Line guests is provided by Total Picture Tours, featuring bus, boat, helicopter, and limousine services.
We're back, and we have a special treat right now for you. Guy Davis is going to grace us with a song.
Just a tune.
Just a tune. Just a tune.
For Black History Month.
You moved so smoothly from one to the other.
Yes, I was in the middle of a question. Would you like to answer that? How much of the character is you? That was beautiful, just beautiful.
Thank you very much. I've been doing that 18 years, a lot longer than I've been acting. Oh. But like acting, it's something that I worked at. And how much of the character is me? Not an awful lot. I mean, yes, I may be egotistical, but Josh is not as sensitive as I am. He's a lot more crazed than I am. I'm older than he is.
Okay, Pamela?
Do you mind if I just, one more little thing before Pamela? I'm still in acting school. It's a never-ending process about doing something and creating a character. And it's not something that just happens on the street. You know.
Yeah, that was something we wanted to stress. Anyway, we are all still studying, and still working at our craft. It's a very difficult job, and it takes a lot of work.
Okay, let's do some quick questions from home. They've been waiting patiently. Hi, caller, you're in touch.
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, I'd like to know, this question is for Guy. I'd like to know who will Lisa eventually go with, Josh Hall or Bobby Blue?
You got me. You really got me. I don't know. They're making it very difficult for she and I to be together. So we'll just have to see. I'm really sorry. I can't tell you.
You really don't know how much is going to happen to your character in the coming weeks, do you?
No, I didn't realize I was going to be such a dog. Are you kidding?
Okay. Let's try another call from home. Hi, you're in touch with City Line. Caller, you're live.
Okay. My question is for Guy Davis.
Yes.
And what I want to know is, would you like to say, see your character is Josh and the Bobby Blue character, as opposed to the stereotype of having blacks go against each other? Would you like to see maybe your character and Bobby Blue's character to become friends as opposed to going against each other?
Well, not so much Bobby Blue, but yes, I would like to see blacks on the show being supportive of one another. Even if the show demands that Bobby Blue and I become enemies, even if it turns out that Josh is going downhill and he's materialistic, I would like to see a way for Josh's father to bring him up, to make something good happen to him. I would like, conflicts exist with human beings, but I would like for understanding to come about.
Okay, what is next for you all? You are obviously have garnered quite a following in your present roles. Where do you want to go from here? Do you want to go
professionally?
Yeah, professionally.
I don't know. I'm really quite content, actually, on the soap. An example of what you can do is what Susan Lucci did on that other soap. And you know, she did that movie Mafia Princess. So I mean, I'd love to do, get projects like that and still be able to go back to the soap, because an actor has to work every day. I mean the ideal situation. So I'm happy there right now. I'd like to get other projects on the side, but
Yeah.
I'm presently writing a screenplay. and a pilot idea. So I do want to continue acting, but I will also continue writing and hopefully sell something, and we'll see.
Okay. That's great. And Guy?
I definitely want to be able to do more stage work. That's where I feel the real challenge is. And with my guitar and other things, I go around to schools. I want to continue doing that. I like doing that because I get a lot of questions from young people about actors, about acting, about do they use drugs, about do they, you know, what do they do? And I just like to communicate that all of what we do is a serious craft. And there's no room for being sloppy and thinking you such hot stuff that you can, you know, sniff some stuff up.
Right.
You know?
One follow-up to that is there's no room for drugs. I mean, that may be a myth about, you know, the work that we do, but surprisingly, I never see it. There's no drugs in the, you know, involved. You couldn't possibly go in front of the camera, you know.
That's good to know. And we're sorry that we're out of time, but we're so glad that you all were able to join us. Guy Davis, Pamela K, and Russell Curry, thanks so much. One more time.
Thank you, Jackie.
We'll be right back in just a minute. Please stay with us.
Good afternoon. Topping today's newscap, an unexplained head-on collision between two trains in South Africa has resulted in the deaths of nearly 39 people and injuries to numerous others. We get a report from ABC News.
The accident happened during the peak hours early on Friday evening as black workers from the KwaMashu township were making their way home for the weekend from Durban. There were gruesome scenes as rescue workers and paramedics fought to bring relief to the dozens of passengers trapped in the mangled wreckage. But it was a long night for some of the injured. For those who could be quickly freed, there was on-the-spot medication. But those still trapped deep inside the twisted metal had to wait until dawn for the arrival of a railway crane, which was brought in from Pietermaritzburg, some 70 miles away. When the two passenger trains collided, the moving train rose up and trapped dozens of people in the carriages below. The white driver of the moving train died instantly. Estimates of the death toll rose sharply after the wreckage was separated, at least 15 dead and more than 70 injured. What the authorities want to know is, how did a crowded train running at full speed crash into another crowded train standing still?
The death toll from that collision has risen to 39 and still counting. During our last newscap presentation, we explored the topic of why some 5,000 city employees represented by the Classified Municipal Employees Association of Baltimore would not be allowed to observe Dr. King's birthday in terms of having the day off. It was explained to us by the Labor Commissioner's office that the decision was one made by the union during the collective bargaining process. However, CMEA has a different story to tell. So, in the interest of fairness, joining me now is Joseph Kelly, president of the Classified Municipal Employees Association. And Mr. Kelly, you clearly have a different position on the situation. You claim that the city of Baltimore, through the Labor Commissioner, has arbitrarily and capriciously denied CMEA members their right to celebrate the federal holiday. Could you explain your position, sir?
Yes, ma'am. It's very simple. But in order to understand our position, you have to have all the true facts, and those facts are in the contract. As far back as 1973, all CMEA represented employees were entitled to what was called early closing. It meant you went home on Christmas Eve at 12 noon and on New Year's Eve at 2 o'clock. In the very next contract in 1974, that language was omitted and the fourth PL day appeared. Information that we've gathered from members of CMEA who are presently board members and officers who were around at that time specifically, emphatically state that we got the fourth PL day, CMEA got the fourth PL day because we gave up the early closing. The Office of the Labor Commissioner would have you believe that they gave us the fourth PL day to celebrate Dr. King's birthday as they did to all other unions. That's not so.
Mr. Kelly, what prompted me to do the story in the first place was an article appearing in the Afro where some members of your union complained that they felt the union leadership was cheating them out of a national holiday. Mr. Tilden also confirmed that perception, sir, that the union is the one who made the bottom line decision in terms of not acquiescing and not recognizing or wanting to recognize, you used the term specifically, the King holiday. What is happening here? Is it misinformation? Is it misunderstanding, misinterpretation? And on whose part?
No, it's banditry committed by the city. It's a holdup. The city's trying to tell us that we have to give up a day in order to be able to celebrate Dr. King's birthday. The fact that they try to lead the citizens to believe that we do not want to celebrate Dr. King's birthday is, I can't use the word I want to use. It's a barefaced lie. Excuse me.
We know that the collective bargaining process is a give and take proposition.
Yes, ma'am.
And if I'm hearing you correctly, it sounds as though you wanted the holiday, but you weren't willing to give anything for it. Is that a correct assessment?
Yes, ma'am. We don't feel, and the contracts from 1969 bear us out, we don't feel that we should have to give up anything for a federal holiday. Our proposal to the city was that the mayor declare Dr. King's birthday a holiday for all city employees. The Labor Commissioner denied us that right. He's trying to hold us up. It's just, it's not fair.
In essence, then, what you wanted was the creation of another holiday for city employees. Is that correct?
The federal government had already created the holiday. All we want is the right to celebrate it. And we're being denied that right by the city of Baltimore.
I'll ask you, like I asked the Deputy Labor Commissioner, sir, what input did employees of the union, members of the union, have in your decision?
Well, in the original decision, they had no input. When the issue became what it was actually made out to be by the Labor Commissioner, we decided to poll the membership. I sent out a personal letter to the general membership explaining our position in toto. I asked them to respond either in writing or by phone to our poll. Our poll consisted of 3 parts, option 1, 2, and 3, or A, B, and C, if you will. Our position was C. We received over 833 comments back from our general membership. Over 80% of the membership that responded to us agree with our position, and that is to sue for our right to both the 4th personal leave day and to celebrate the federal holiday.
We're running out of time, Mr. Kelly, but it's already too late to celebrate the King holiday this year. What are your plans for next year? Do you plan on suing? If you sue, who will you sue? And what are your plans for observing King's holiday for 1987?
We intend to follow an unfair labor practice against the city of Baltimore for denying us the right to celebrate Dr. King's birthday. I can't answer for next year at this point in time because I don't know what's going to happen.
Mr. Kelly, I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon and giving your side of the story. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you for inviting me.
In other news, if you are thinking about starting a business or recently did so, then you may be interested in a workshop being conducted by the United States Small Business Administration and SCORE. The workshop is entitled How to Start and Manage Your Own Business and will address such topics as organization, business plans, advertising, site collection, and marketing. That workshop will be held this coming Wednesday. Now, to register and to get further details, call 962-2233. Each week on Newscap, we end our news broadcast by highlighting the accomplishments and achievements of deserving students throughout Maryland. We call it our City Line Student of the Week. There are no age or grade restrictions. The only requirements are that students excel in some area and be nominated by their teachers or principals. Now, all student nominations should be sent to City Lines Student of the Week, WJZ-TV, Television Hill, Baltimore, Maryland, 21211, and we encourage those entries today. And finally, it was a sad day in aviation history last week with the death of the 7 shuttle astronauts. Especially mourned was the loss of a rarity to the black community, astronaut Ronald McNair. McNair, a member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity, earned his bachelor's degree from North Carolina A&T and his doctorate degree from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He was slated to be the first person to receive a master's degree in orbit via a satellite transmission. McNair was selected for the astronaut program in 1978. On February 11, 1984, he took his first shuttle flight. He is survived by 2 children and a wife, who is an employee of the Johnson Space Center in Houston. Mrs. Cheryl McNair trains flight controllers to operate computer consoles in mission control. And that is today's newscap. I'm T. Montier. More of City Line up next. Have a good afternoon.
Hi, I'm Harold Anthony. What do you get when you combine the overwhelming talents of 4 gospel-singing brothers who were raised harmonizing and subsequently decided to make singing the word of the Lord their life's work? Well, you get the Winans, the most successful and dynamic gospel group to hit the airwaves since we heard Oh Happy Day. Although they have rocketed to the top of the gospel charts, the saga of the Winans is only beginning to unfold. 4 out of 10 family members, the Winans were born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, where they served their musical apprenticeship, naturally enough, in the church. Gospel is what they were raised on and all they've ever wanted to sing. The group became diversified in their vocal arrangements by performing in churches throughout the Detroit area. They often competed in various talent shows, which is a real test of their creative appeal, since they were often competing against mainstream groups. July 1975 was the turning point in the group's musical aspirations. It was then that the quartet presented themselves to the general public for the very first time as a professional group. The response was overwhelming, and with an increase in concert tours came an increase in ticket sales. After teaming up with the world-famous Andre Crouch, they were credited with several Grammy-nominated albums, which include Long Time Coming, Tomorrow, and Introducing the Winans. It was only natural that with the group's growing acclaim that they would attract the attention of the legendary producer, talent scout, and creative entrepreneur, Quincy Jones. That merger proved to be history in the making, as demonstrated on their latest album called Let My People Go. For those of you who are just getting acquainted with the Winans, it's a breathtaking ends with Let My People Go. Taking a look at the local scene, we find that WJZ-TV, in cooperation with the Baltimore Center for Performing Arts Incorporated, will present the legendary First Lady of Jazz, Ella Fitzgerald, in concert at the Morris Day Mechanic Theater at 8 p.m. on Thursday, February 6. This event will benefit the U.B. Blake Cultural Center. For more information, you can call 625-1400. Also, the Arena Players will be presenting Steal Away at the Arena Playhouse, 801 McCullough Street. You can see Steal Away weekends through February 9th. For more information, you can call 728-6500. In commemoration of Black History Month, the Walters Art Gallery will present a 19th century black artist exhibition in Harlem photographs by Carl Van Vechten. This exhibit will be featured now through March 2nd at the Walters Art Gallery located at 600 North Charles Street. Among the artists on exhibit, the great Baltimorean Joshua Johnson, who is believed to be the first Afro-American to achieve fame as a portraitist, Robert Scott Duncanson, most noted for portraits and still lifes as well as historical and religious subjects, and Carl Van Vechten, whose photographs depict Afro-Americans who have made significant contributions to the cultural and social life of the United States. Among the artists displayed by Van Vechten are writers James Baldwin, Dizzy Gillespie, athlete Althea Gibson, and more. For more information on activities, tours, films, and lectures, call the Walters Art Gallery at 547-9000. Well, that just about does it for this week's edition of the Entertainment Page. I'm Harold Anthony, hoping you all have a great week.
And we'd like to thank our guests today on today's show.
That's right. All of them. Thanks for being here. Coming up next week, we have a very interesting show, a woman whose son died of AIDS, so you'll want to join us.
And the following week, the 16th of February, the king of the rappers.
None other than Mr. Curtis Blow. So if you want to be part of that studio audience, call now at 481-1313 to reserve your seat. I'm B.T. Bentley.
I'm Jackie Hall. Have a good Sunday.
Bye-bye.